Okay, so I try not to ramble here, but I don't think many people kind of get the core idea behind why LLMs work as well as they do and why that was sort of surprising and how we accomplish this leaps and bounds thing of AI. But to understand it, let's go back in time a little bit to the history of how LLMs got to the point that they did. We used to have things like classifiers where we would go label images, and then maybe the AI eventually got to the point where it understood things enough to label its own images better than we could, and that was great, but it didn't really extend to much. It didn't become super useful. We started to realize we need some other system. This is too hands-on. It's not going to lead us to a system that can actually display intelligence. So we came up with things like reinforcement learning. And we got many cool things out of that, like self-driving cars, AlphaFold, chessbots. If you think about what that is, it's some understanding that something gets from softer guidance and some sort of guidance and reinforcement, where it learns a worldview and internal model of how something works. So, like chessbots, when you move a pawn, it's hard to say that was one step closer to victory, or it was one step closer to loss. Outside of determine like you can exactly say this move order will result in this, but it needs a way to kind of take a less direct path in this and eventually learns rules to the system, like maybe a queen is generally more valuable than a pawn, and then you see that it becomes really good at that system. And you can also control, like you can tell it specifically, you're not allowed to like kill the king. You're not allowed to make illegal moves. Where with language models, it's harder to bound. Like you get the input, and then everything in between is like kind of a black box to the output. But why does it work so well? Well, humans have internal worldviews, and our system that we invented to put those into the real world is language. Language, if you understand it well enough, and LLMs are pretty good at packaging up language, is a description of many, many systems. But this do it all LLM model is a bit flawed in the regard that yes, it gets you off the ground to a good, you know, result quickly, but it's not actually intelligence or the actual system. It just looks very much like it is because it's us through the language, but more structured systems is more towards the future.